Hello students. So in today's class we are going to discuss about the concept debugging. So debugging means the process of identifying and removal of errors in a program is called debugging. So why do we have to remove an error in a program? So when you have an error in a program, first thing, it will not allow you to execute the program properly, or it may generate a wrong output. So when we remove an error in a program before executing, it will generate the correct output, and there will be not any abnormal termination in your program. So that is the reason why do we have to debug a program. So there are three different types of errors in your programming language. In any programming languages, if you see, there are basically three different types of errors. One is syntax, the other one is logical, and the other one is runtime errors. So when you look at the syntax errors, like other programming languages, even in Python, we have certain rules, that is the syntax, which will determine how you are supposed to write a program in a certain format. So when you may make some mistakes in a syntax, what will happen? The interpreter will not identify, the interpreter will display an error message that you have an error in the syntax. Just look at the example over here. So print of coding for beginners in easy steps they have given. Here they have started with the single quote, but they have not closed it with a single quote. So this is one such syntax error, because in the print statement, even when you're writing a print statement also, it takes up a certain syntax. So if you commit a syntax over here, immediately it will display the error message. So only when you correct this error, it will allow you to run your program. So this is called as a syntax error. And when it comes to logical errors, so let us see how it works. Logical error, it is also referred to as the bugs or semantic error. And when compared to the syntax error, here a logical error is quite different. It will not stop the program execution, whereas the program will behave incorrectly and it will produce the wrong output. Whereas sometimes you will find it a little difficult to identify the logical errors at times, because syntactically it will not display any error, and then during the runtime also it will not display any error, whereas the output will be produced wrong. So that is where the logical error takes place. Actually, see here in this program, here they are trying to add two numbers 5 and 3, but the result has been produced here is 0. So when we add 5 and 3, we have to get 8, right? But the result has been produced as 0. So these kinds of errors, when we come across, is called logical errors. So even we have to correct this immediately when we come across an error like this, to avoid the abrupt answers. And then runtime error, the third one. So runtime error, it is completely different from the syntax and logical, whereas it will cause the abnormal termination of your program when you try to execute. So here what happens is, the syntactically all the statements will be correct over here, but at times when if you have not defined a variable, but when you try to access the particular variable during your program execution, at that time it will display this runtime error. See here, they have given an example over here. Name title is not defined, they have given. So they might have not defined the variable title over there, and if they try to access this variable title, what will happen? At that time it will display an error like this, and it will not allow you to execute the next statement. When you try to when you, it will not allow you to display the output even. So abnormally the program gets terminated. That represents a runtime error. Clear? So whatever we are working with, whatever program statements we are working with, we have to identify and remove the errors before we try to execute the program. Even in Python, it will not allow you to move on to the next statement when you commit an error syntactically, or when you commit a runtime error even. So we have to be very careful when we are working with the program. Now let us see about conditional and looping constructs. So this is quite a different topic. So far we have in Python programming language, we have discussed how to execute the programs in a sequential manner. So sequential manner in the sense, one after the other the statements gets executed, right? Like you can take a simple example like adding two numbers. So when you add to add two numbers in a program, in the form of a program statements, what we will do, first we will give two variables and we will assign two values to the variables. That is one particular statement. And after that the next statement, you will do the processing. That is, you will add those two variables to and assign it to a third variable, and after that we will display the result. So this is how we have learnt so far. But um, Frequently when we work in the sequential manner, sometimes we have to take some decisions or we have to give some conditions in between the program, right? So without giving any conditions, the program will not be complete. It will work just like that. So one after the other it keeps working, but if you're not going to provide any conditions, much similar to the real life examples, you will find it literally boring. So a simple example you can take, here they have given, if it is the raining situation. So if it is going to rain, you will take an umbrella, or if it is not going to rain, you will not take an umbrella. This is one such simple example they have given. In programming languages, to provide condition based statements, we make use of a keyword called if. See here, we make use of a keyword called if. So by using this keyword, we will provide conditions in between the program. So let us see how this works actually by looking at the examples. So when you see here, the program control flow. To control the flow of a program, we make use of these three kinds of programming statements. One is sequential statement, the other one is selection or conditional statements, which is also called decision making statements, and the other one is iteration or looping statements. So these three different types of these three different types of program control flow statements we will make use of in a program. So let us see one by one how this works actually. When it comes to sequential statements, here the programs will be executed in a sequential or in a linear fashion. That is, one after the other we will execute the programs, whereas the statements will get executed in an order. It will not jump from one statement, it will not jump from the first statement to the third statement. Like adding the two numbers example, how we have discussed, no, that represents a sequential program statements. And now that we have discussed so many program based examples, we have discussed on the sequential statement concept. Now we will discuss about selection and conditional statement. So when you look at the selection or conditional based statements, here you will use the keyword called if to provide conditions in between a program. So when we come across a condition actually, so when you come across two alternative sets, that is when you come across two choices, you have to choose either one, any one choice alone. You cannot go with both the choices, right? So this or that. So you can take a simple example. If the person is if the person's age is greater than or equal to 18, he is eligible to vote. Or the person is not eligible to vote. If he is less than 18, he is not eligible to vote. This is one real-time example. So here we are using the keyword called if, right? So if when we will use to check a condition, we will use the if statement. Yes. So in that cases we will go with this selection or conditional statement. Here based on the condition we are deciding what we are going to do, right? So that's why it is also called as the decision making statements even. And the other statement is called iteration or looping concept. So looping means repeating a process for a certain number of times, and even iteration refers to the same thing. So when you want a set of statements in a program to get repeated again and again, we will go with this looping concept. Here you will use two different keywords called for and then while loop. So for and while, two different keywords you will use here to work with the looping concept. For this you can take an example like to print the first 100 natural numbers. So to print the first 100 natural number, you instead of sitting and typing the numbers starting from 1 till 100, if you write the statements in a program using the for or while keyword, what will happen? You can finish up the entire process within a single line of code. So when you look at the examples, you will understand much more clearly. So let us see how this works now. Now, regarding the sequential statements, we have discussed a lot. Now, the second statement called decision making statement that we are going to discuss. So, in decision making statement, you have four broad categories. First one is if statement, the next one is if else, then if elif ladder, and then nested if else statement. So you have four different types of decision making statements. I have told you when you work with the decision making or conditional statements, you will make use of the keyword if. So by using this keyword only, we are going to write the syntax and then we will implement everything in the programming even. So let us see how this works. So especially the decision making statements helps to control the flow of your program. For that purpose, we make use of the decision making statement. So let us see about the if statement. So when you consider the if statement, it is one of the most easiest method to apply in the Python programming language. So by using the if condition, it will check whether the condition is true or not, and if the condition is going to be true, the statement associated with the if condition will be executed. See here, this is the syntax of the simple if statement. Four broad categories we have: if else, if elif ladder, and then nested if else statement. So if condition means if is a keyword actually, followed by that a condition will be given in the syntax, and then followed by the condition you have provided a colon to represent that we have defined a condition here, and followed by the colon, obviously the statements will be indented with four spaces by default. So when you check a condition here, for example, if I'm giving here as if the age is greater than or equal to 18, age greater than or equal to 18 is the condition which I have provided here. So if the condition is going to be true, the statement associated with this will be executed. So it is not that you have to give only one statement over here under the if condition. You can give even multiple statements under the if condition. Got it? So this is the syntax of the simple if condition, and this is even called as the header. So let us see how this if condition works based on an example. See here, if the condition is going to be true, as usual I said, the intended statements gets executed. And the intended statement, it implies that the execution is dependent on the header, and there are no limits for the number of statements that can appear under the if block. So under this if block, you can give as many number of statements as you wish. So there is no limit for the statements that you're going to give under the if condition. And then if is a keyword, as I told you already, and then which is followed by a condition, and it is ended with the colon. And even one more thing, in the if condition, when you are trying to use this if condition, you can even give the conditions within the bracket, or you can provide it without the bracket also. So it is not mandatory. So all these are the things which you have to follow up when you are using the if condition. So let us see an example based on this. Now here, age is a variable, and for this variable they have provided a statement with int and input function. So enter the age of a person. So what will happen here, when you enter the age of a person in the numerical, when you give the numerical value 10, that 10 will be converted, that 10 will be considered as the string because of the input function. Followed by that, it will be converted into integer data type, and then it will be assigned to the age variable. So now the age variable contains the value 10. Now we are going to check the condition using the if statement. So if, and here I have provided the condition according to the syntax. If is the keyword, and here in this condition, age greater than or equal to 18. This is the condition they have provided here, followed by that colon. So in this age variable, the value 10 will be added over here. So when I give value 10 over here, what will happen? 10 greater than or equal to 18, the condition will be checked. So here 10 greater than or equal to 18, the condition is false. So what will happen? Immediately it will check the condition. If the condition is false, this particular statement will not be executed because he is eligible to cast the vote. Here the condition is false, so it will directly move on to the last statement, print of am not an if condition. You understood? So if the condition is true, the following statement will be executed, or if the condition is false, this particular statement will not be executed and it will move on to the last statement. So this is how the if condition works. I hope you understood this concept, children. Thank you.